What's going on, guys? Noguides here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to go over Tekkz Unbeaten tactics. Tekkz went 100-0 with this 4-3-2-1. He actually uploaded some time back, but I believe he's still using these tactics. People have been saying that they've been getting really good results with this, so I thought I would try this. I'm going to go through the instructions first. What I'll do is I'll go through the instructions and then I'll show you the gameplay of how the tactics work, what I think, and at the end I want to show you what changes I would make for you, the average player. Don't forget, in the end, Tekkz is a pro player. Can he go 100-0 because he can break the script? No, of course not. No such thing as a script. He got 100-0 because he's a top tier player and one of the best players in the world. Simple as. So he's got stay central, get it behind the striker. He's got the left striker, should I say, on stay central, and the rest on balance. No get it behind here. Very interesting. Bit different from my one as well. And it's going to be quite important the way this one plays as well. The right centre forward, he's got stay central, get it behind, and come back in defence. So I believe this player will be making the right mid when you defend, because this defends in a 4-4-2 but attacks in a 4-3-2-1. We've got Lorente on stay back, cover centre. He's got a centre mid on cover centre and stay back while attacking. What's interesting to know here is he plays two attacking centre mids and one winger or Ginola in left centre mid. We'll go over that as well. And then the player on the left hand side is on cover wing. We've just got Perez there. We'll sub Perez off. We're just leaving them there just for chemistry purposes. Centre backs unbalanced. One of the centre backs comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. To be honest, I don't use comes for crosses that much, but it'll be quite interesting. Hopefully my opponent does do some crossing against me. And then interesting, he's got stay back but no overlap on the left back. Interesting. And then the right back, the more offensive player, is on balance and overlap. So this is probably going to be the way I'm going to start it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sub on some attacking players, maybe like a more attacking winger over here and attacking centre mid here, and we're going to see how this works inside the game. So let's go in. Just forgot to mention the tactics. Here are the tactics, by the way. You can just copy and paste these. I'll explain this at the end of the video, why he's showing specific styles. I'll leave his link down below in the description if you want to hear what his opinion on his tactics and his verdict, because I know these are his tactics. He's got his own reasoning. But I'll give you, this balanced direct passing, 14-7 players. But these are his tactics, and I'll explain to you at the end why I think he's done certain things, etc., etc. And let's go straight into the gameplay now. Okay, we're going to go into the game now. Now, what Tekkz has is he's got Bellingham here and he's got KDB. We don't have those players, so we're going to improvise. And he's got Ginola over here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to just go something like this. Probably not ideal. Maybe we could put Cecina to help imitate Ginola. So we got obviously nowhere near Bellingham and KDB standards. But we got those players there. Don't forget, Tekkz can go probably 100-0 with like a team that cost 1 million coins if you really super tried hard and sweated it every single game like it's a Champions League final. People always forget how gifted some of these top tier pro players are at this game. Now, I'm going to wait for the formation to change, and while we're doing that, I'm just going to go on L1 trigger. Terrible for me there. I don't know what that was, but we're just going to kick the ball out of place so the formation then changes quickly. The subs come on. So we got Rapinoe playing centre mid. Why is that? We'll have a look at the reason for that as well in a second. So Alvarez is going to do a quick 1-2. Switch the ball, like so. The width is very good enough. We're just waiting for the owner to make that run. We're just waiting for her to make a run. We're just going to push it forward, the L1 trigger, just to basically push it forward even more. And that is going to be obviously the weak side. That is why that right centre back, as I mentioned, very similar to my tactics, is that what you need to make sure that you do have, in essence, how we defend. Also, people always ask 4-3-2-1, how similar are pros and why do people use different ones? You see, the difference between one width and 40 width, if I give it to you, the tactics, they may work abysmal for you. But for your friend who's also trying the tactics out, it might work amazingly for them. Now, the truth is, you give any pro player any tactic, they're always going to be a top tier pro player. You can give them literally any formation. They're still probably going to get 20-0. Like, people really misunderstand this. It really just depends on the player's ability. But especially if you're like in that, I would say, below elite level, I would probably say, because elite level, there's a lot of fake elite players nowadays because of the no relegation system, stuff like that. With all due respect, It kind of, so people will think they're top tier player when actually it's not. But anyway, that's not a situation altogether. The reason I'm just mentioning this as well is because people always think, does a formation of 20 width change? It will, especially if you don't understand the game. If you don't understand the game like inside out, that could be enough to change, because you might be thinking, you know, before, oh, my team was too compact together. But that 20 width can make a difference for your gameplay. That's why it's always important to try this. That's why I'm trying to now go towards like multiple different ideas. This is why, as I said, with tactics, I try to make different variations so you can try ones that work for you. I don't want to just use one. I want you to also learn how tactics work so you can adapt it for your own playstyle. One thing I noticed immediately as well is off the ball, the team doesn't press. You can see Tekkz uses 65 instead of 64, I believe, instead of 71 depth. Now, if you're heavily reliant on pressure, it's going to be problematic for you, because you can see out of possession, the team are not going to do that much. I'm going to, especially when my opponent goes out of this counter-attack situation here and retains the ball, the team really don't press that much. You're going to have to use a lot of teammate contain, which I'm going to use now to basically emulate it. Also, the second thing is Tekkz touches upon L1 triggers as well. Offside, leave it. L1 triggers are just the biggest. Long ball. Long ball is what I'd recommend for a formation like this. Unless you're playing very, very patiently and you're doing the L1 triggers. You got to be careful. With no L1 triggers, look, you can see, okay, I'm not going to use any L1 triggers or 1-2s, right? Everyone goes, oh yeah, no, your players move like amazingly. Well, I'm using such a cheap team. This is like a 1,000,000 coin team, even less, like a 400, 300k team I'm using. I don't even know, God knows how much this team costs. But you can see there's no movement. You see they're just standing there. The players are not moving. It's only those players that got to get in behind. I believe the left centre forward there's no getting behind, if I'm not mistaken. But this is a downside, is that the team, they're just static. There's no real movement. And this is why you'll find yourself being congested, because you need to be the player that can get the ball forward, do that one who's Rapinoe makes that run, and then create space. I can add that one to an Alvarez, one to a Cecina. Then that way I can make that run over there, create that space over there, and then get around that player. That's why the L1 triggers and the 1-2s are so. It's why a lot of the pro formations are not working for you guys. Or people like to say it works for 1 week and then it doesn't work. Of course, it doesn't stop working. It stops working because you're not doing the same thing you're doing 1 week. If you watch your gameplay back 1 week and you watch it back the next week, I promise you'll see you're not doing L1 triggers, you're not being patient enough, etc., etc. But L1 triggers here are so, so important. And here, I ideally don't want my opponent to leave here, because I've literally recorded this like 3 times now and every single opponent is left. So I'm just going to keep the ball in my possession now. Bit less of dribbling. Right, my favourite thing to do. Never panic. You see also this thing when you're defending, don't panic. Never panic like that. But yeah, another thing I want to notice as well is when you lose the ball, that centre mid is going to be more important than you think. That centre mid is probably the heart of the team. The reason why I say this, that's a good goal. Oh, a bit unlucky. Should have aimed it to the left and to the right. That left centre mid is very important. When you lose the ball, that's going to be... I got Llorente, that central player. Now, I would recommend a defensively minded player there. 100% would recommend a defensively minded player. Because you see like here, Llorente, he's always there. So maybe the right centre mid goes forward, but Llorente, as you can see, is always in that position. So Llorente gets that job done. Now, I know Tekkz does use KDB there, but you got to remember, Tekkz is a top tier pro player, right? His positioning, at the end of the day, positioning is what trumps everything. His positioning is 10-10. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if there's a bronze player there, he's probably not going to be making that mistake. The key thing with this formation again is waiting for that Rapinoe. You can see like here he's waiting, pushing L1 triggers to force that player to make that run sometimes. Because sometimes that player doesn't make that run. You can see, look again, Llorente in the right place at the right time. He's there to recover, fill in for that role. Push up here, be a bit aggressive. Not the wrong button I'll press actually there. Kind of commit him a little bit, wait for the cut back. And the angle was too wide. I was hoping it would go across goal there. Bit of a over press from me there. Use a bit of partial teammate container to cover that run there. And that second runner should be covered just about there. Just be careful when you're getting out of danger here, because it takes a lot of control to get out of danger here. You're really looking for that right back here. Very similar. It's very similar to Mark Marley's tactics, or the ones that I made the 4-3-2-1. They're actually all very similar. But people have been requesting me to try this Tekkz variation of the formation. Of course, you're not going to be seeing any pros using a false 9 or anything like that. Let's be realistic. L1 trigger here. Get the ball like that. I can see Babajide making that run down the wing. Kind of bring the ball back there. And of course, if you like to use cutbacks, this formation is excellent to do that. I'm just going to show you an example here. Like this. You can go even a wide cutback, as I like to call it. Got to be careful here. This player's got to have that pace. And you can see, like, with a bit of teammate contain, you can manually apply pressure yourself. Good defending. And that's why that centre mid is also very important. I got Risa there. Just probably the most terrible player to probably do that. But Ken gets the job done. A bit of teammate contain here. The team doesn't really press a little bit, but it kind of is, you're basically really calling for a manual press here. Manual body check there. Just going to trap that player there, and I'm going to force him to go inwards and get the ball back. Bit unlucky. He's going to go for a slide tackle here. Keep it safe. Slide tackle again. And what can you do about that? There's one of those ones. I tried to do a slide tackle there at the end as well, but I selected the wrong player there. Just a bit unlucky. That Risa card did get free in one of what pack did I get? The hero pack, I believe, right? Let's not concede here now. Stay defensively out of danger. I think this owner is actually very good. She's actually really quick. I think you ideally want someone quicker here. And of course, Tekkz will be using everything at his arsenal. You know, he'll be using it's a very good read from my opponent actually. Using Tekkz's usual skill moves. And this is why sometimes having that centre mid there instead of Risa, because then you can do like a driven pass, or you can beat a player there. I want Virgil van Dijk to get out of that situation. I don't want him to be there at all. Just waiting for that gap. And that is why you need a good distributor of the ball there. That's why I think that central role is, if you could have someone like KDB and you're good at defending, I think it's much better, because let's go for cheeky finish shot. I don't really do these, but it's a good angle there. Well, not really the best of angles, but I think if you can have a good distributor in that centre mid role, it's very, very good. There we go. Sorry, I just had to get, I don't really score those kind of goals, but I just had to, just had to do it before I could see some bollocks again. But let's just make sure we don't. Keep everything in shape. Nice. Bit unlucky. Get Virgil van Dijk out of there. Just containing my opponent really here. Oh, it's a bit unlucky. No more rebounds, please. The ball to the side here. Again, we're really going to wait for that 1-2 now. Like someone like Bellingham here can hold up the ball, shield the ball, get the ball away, and that's a bit unlucky. Using teammate contain here with Risa, and a bit unlucky. Come on. Thank you. No rebounds, please. Salah's left footed, just pushing the Salah away. Also kind of blocking the space out. So a lot of this defending that I'm doing is kind of like my favorite. Unfortunately, this year, it forces you to be very, very passive when you're defending. I love being aggressive defending like this, or pushing players into positions, into other players. Kind of my favorite thing to do. The comes with crosses, you won't notice that anyway, because that cross is just too far anyway. Get the ball over there, actually. Kind of center forward, actually. For the little cheeky tactic you'll see sometimes. Talked about when a game came out. Near post. Oh my god, these goalkeepers, sometimes I tell you, goalkeepers can save everything. It's a really good tactic to do, by the way, on a pro scene. Bring that ball forward. Senior. And I think, as we're making a video about Tekkz, I got to do a special Tekkz goal one of my favorite things that I actually learnt from Tekkz when I saw his gameplay. If I can get the ball back to do it, that is. I need to get the ball to Senior because I believe he's the only one that can do it. It's that one. Remember that one? Come on, Senior, get into a good position. I should have probably switched Alvarez and Senior around there, really, but the ball back there into that space. You really do need high work rates here. You really need those high work rates here. That's where KDB would be. Oh no, what was that spin? It was such a slow turn that was. And you can see Llorente, that's centre mid. I mean, obviously team of the year KDB, something like that would be, team of the year player like that would be like amazing, you know? That can do everything. Someone like Alexia, they're probably even better, to be honest. Wait, the players drop to the feet. And that is... Okay, so ultimately, what did I think of Tektz's tactic? I think it's a very good tactic. It's very similar to all the other 4-3-2-1s, to be completely honest. I know everyone keeps saying that it's different. It plays a different way. But really, it doesn't. It's all the same. Maybe the depth, that's a bit lower. As I said, I even use similar. I use like 65, 60, 55 depth on a 4-3-2-1. So this is basically almost identical to my 4-3-2-1 anyway that I used. So there isn't really a difference. The one thing you'll notice is that you won't find that pressing ability that you would with a higher depth. So you need to rely heavily a lot on teammate contain. I do think long ball is a better option. Even Tekkz mentioned it as well, long ball. It can really help you, especially with the build-up play. I'd recommend that for anyone below elite level, if you're asking me personally speaking, because you need to be able to use those L1 triggers. Long ball can help you quite a lot. The attacking width, attacking defensive width are basically very good. There's no real need to change those at all. Even the player instructions, I may just put getting behind as a senior as well. Unless Tekkz, I'll be honest, I've not really seen Tekkz play on a consistent basis enough to analyze whether he uses the left centre forward to get the ball to the feet sometimes, and maybe just because the right hand side's on getting behind and he's kind of playing for the overlap. I'm not too sure, but to be honest, I'd probably put Cecilio and get it behind for the mass majority. But on balance, Cecilio still makes that runs going forward. It's just that we're getting behind, you trigger it all the time. But maybe there's a reason why he wants that player there. These are completely fine as well. The rest will be fine. I think these two players, I think more and more I'm finding them to be more and more important. This Llorente, ideally you want a CDM here. I think the best player that I'd probably put here, like I'm just giving you an example, is someone like Rodri. Rodri is like the best player I'd put here, and there's a lot of reasons why I'd put Rodri here, but the main reason I'm going for is because when you're out of possession, you need to have of course not 58 pace. This Rodri here is because when you're out of possession, you need someone that can stop the ball, win the ball, and stop in the tracks. And Rodri has everything, and he has the ability to have the tiki-taka, so he can do a first-time pass, and he's got very good passing. So with a 4-star weak foot to distribute the ball and be very tall and have like how you saw Llorente play, the stature of a player like Rodrigo with that high sprint speed would be perfect. And next to him, he does have Bellingham. But now instead of Bellingham, you can use like Alexia or an Aitana or any of those Team of the Year players. There's a lot of these Team of the Year players are actually very good. You look at the women in the Team of the Years, you have Alexia. You can put even anyone. I wouldn't put Oberdorf. I think she's just probably a bit too slow. 77 sprint speed. Bit too slow if you're asking me personally speaking. But otherwise, apart from that, I think it's a very good team. I mean, very good players that can fit into that role. And this one, you just need an attacking player. I put Babajide there. I use it on my team. But someone like Ginola can do everything. 5-star is a centre mid stature as well. So let's say if you had like, I don't know, like a Hullet equivalent, attacking Hullet, if you had someone like that would be a very good example. I didn't have really tried comes across as that much. I may probably give it actually maybe a bit of a go. Maybe actually thinking about it. I'm not actually really don't use it that much this year. I prefer just have to be able to control myself because sometimes I use teammate contain, a partial teammate contain. And then this player you can put on overlap as well. And that's it. But apart from that, there's no rule. I mean, people keep saying that it's a different formation. I mean, it's a good formation to use. You can see it's basically identical. One thing you might find is because you attack on a right-hand side, people may prefer this formation. This all depends on how our eyes and how we play. If you're shooting from left to right, if you look at the bottom side of the pitch, if you're attacking down the right hand side, the closest one to your eyes at the bottom of the pitch, people naturally attack at the side. So let's say you're shooting from left to right. So for you, it'd be like this to this. On the bottom of the pitch, that is where you probably have most of your attacks naturally. That's what I've noticed in FC. A lot of people do that because their eyes are naturally at the bottom of the pitch, as opposed to the top side. So maybe that is why some people prefer the right back going forward as opposed to a left back. But anyway, those are Tekkz's tactics. No real changes I'd make. It's similar to all of the 4-3-2-1s. I know people are saying it's miles different. I don't think it is. Maybe it's the width that they just prefer. This helps them out. But it's no other different. It's not like they're using forward runs or anything that makes the formation change completely. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.